Hi, this is Nitesh. Welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to do a face reading comparison between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. We are going to learn about the strength of each of their faces and the challenge of those facial traits. I have compared them on 5 facial features. I've also added a bonus segment where I've shared about the two halves of the face and what it entails. So let's go deep dive into the magic board to uncover the facial traits of these two politicians and also see what facial traits you possess in them, of them, and what are their strengths and challenges that you also may face through in their life, and see whether their personality traits are something that resonates with you. So let's go deep dive into the magic board to uncover all of that. Welcome to the magic board, guys. Today in this video, as I have mentioned in the intro, we are going to compare Kamala Harris versus Joe Biden. And as we all know that Kamala Harris is now in the race for presidential election and Joe Biden has quitted. So we are going to see what sorts of transformation with respect to personalities that we can expect from both of them, and what are some of the strengths that Kamala Harris have over Joe Biden, and what are the challenges that we can see in between the transformation of these two politicians over the US politics, right? So I'm going to compare them on 5 features here that I have mentioned earlier itself. We are going to see the eyebrows, we are going to see the eyes, we are going to see the forehead of both of them, we are going to see the nose part, we are going to see the lips part, and as a bonus segment for this particular video, we are going to share about what are the two sides of the face and what it reflects, and is there a change, and the two sides of the face we are going to view for Joe Biden. And make sure that you check out the video that I have done for Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris, where I have indicated about their facial traits and what advantages it pertains, right? So let us begin this video by comparing two of them, their facial features and the amazing personalities or kind of features that they demonstrate in their personality, right? The very first part, that is the eyebrow. Let us see for both of them what it indicates. Is there a difference in between both of them? And let us first zoom in Joe Biden's picture and see how is his eyebrow strength. And the very first thing that you could observe is this is a straighter set of eyebrows that you could see. There is not enough curve into them, right? And when there is this aspect of curve into any feature in the face, it reflects the aspect of emotional strength and creativity. But here we could not see a lot of curve on his face, especially on the eyebrows. So when eyebrows are that straight, it indicates the logical thinking pattern of a person, more of factual base, more of practical orientation is something which is there with respect to their thinking patterns, right? So this is what the facial trait where the straighter eyebrow set is there, it indicates that. And if you see Kamala Harris's eyebrow, this eyebrow is kind of thinning at the end, right? It is kind of decent enough at the progress part, but at the later half it is kind of thinning in. And if you see her pictures from the past as well, these are kind of thinning up, right? So when there is this thinning features on the eyebrow side, it indicates that there is that tinge of extra fire energy present in a person, and it can reflect that the pattern of thinking could be more fiery in nature, could be more emotional in nature, and it can also indicate that she can be a little more, as I mentioned, that fire energy is something where your emotions can spike up and emotion can take the calling. So that is where this particular thinking pattern may be influenced, where emotions may take over facts at times, and that is something which is what you say is her strength, and it also can be a challenge at a certain point in time, right? So the first feature that we compared is eyebrows. The second feature that we are going to see in between both of them is the eye set, is the eye part as to how much visibility is there. So eyes reflects how much open your emotional heart is, how likely or how much expressive you want to be. And a person who bears a eye set that is small, where the iris visibility itself is pretty small, as you could see in Joe Biden's face, it reflects a heart that is less open, that is a little less expressive, and indicates a person's strength towards being less expressive, towards being into himself, towards being reserved. Whereas if you see the eye set of Kamala Harris, you can easily make out that eyes are pretty open, which means she has a very open heart, and she likes to be expressive. And this is something which you will discover in her speeches as well, that she has much more power to connect with the people than it could be for Joe Biden's, right? So that is something which her eyes tell. And her eyes have a sheen, that is, the light of her eyes is pretty bright. And I have mentioned this in the other video as well, where I have compared Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. So the eyes part that is pretty expressive is something which has also a sparkle into it, which again adds that sense of being in the moment kind of zone for Kamala Harris, and which definitely also adds the expressive part into it, which can, really be a strength with respect to adding that sense of emotional connect with the audience, right? So that is the second comparison with respect to eyes and what it means. The third thing that we are going to see is the forehead part, and forehead for Joe Biden in comparison to the whole face is something that stands out, right? And in face reading, it's very important that you look at features that stands out, that are the prominent features on one face, because it kind of influences your personality in a significant way, right? So longer forehead with respect to the complete facial structure, if you see, whenever there is longer forehead, it indicates a strong sense of water energy in a person's profile. And whenever there is this, this is called the first zone, as we also look at a facial zone in three horizontal markway. If you draw these two lines in between the top of the eyebrow and just below the nose tip, this region, as you see, the first region, this is the second region, this is the third region. So first region is called the analytical zone, and it stresses if this is a bigger zone, which in this case is his bigger zone, it indicates that there are a deep thinking reserves, and as water is pretty deep, it indicates that his thinking pattern can also be pretty deep, and it can also stretch to a point where decision making is elongated, because that depth is his strength, and at times can be his challenge if decisions are not taken pretty quickly. But then it indicates his strength, that he wants to enhance on thinking, he wants to capture all the facts, figures, logic, and as you could see also the straighter feature of his eyebrow set combined with a longish forehead, it indicates that a lot of thinking, research, and whatever decision he makes, a lot of thinking goes into it, and it is not purely backed by emotions, which is something which is a good part on the politician side, right? So that is something which you could see on Joe Biden's face. Just other trait that I see here, which is the lines on the face, and when you have a line on top of the eyebrow like this, it can indicate a skeptic line, which means trusting others may not be that easy for him. And this line, if you see on top of his left part of the face, is also the skepticism lines, which kind of get into your face once you expand your face and contract your face back again. Once you are having doubts, it kind of stretches this muscle, and whenever you have lines on here, it can indicate skepticism line on your part, which indicates that trusting may not be pretty easy, and which again is one of the things which could be pretty efficient with respect to politics, right? Not all things can be trusted, not all people can be trusted, right? That sort of adds advantage to his personality. Comparing his forehead to her forehead, Kamala Harris's forehead is also quite big in nature, and as we could see that it stands out, it pretty much stands out, and she again has also a big enough forehead, which again indicates her thinking capabilities, or it indicates that she also likes to think deep, which is one of the common facial traits that we see in both of them, where forehead is forming a major part, a bigger forehead is forming a major part of their personality, and it reflects about like how much thinking or deep thinking they do over things that matters, and it is one of the good signs of a politician's face, right? One of the aspects that I also want you to notice is Joe Biden's ears are pretty big, and big ears goes again with a strength in your water energy, and it adds on to the forehead part as well, and it indicates a strong gene that is the inherent potential that you're born with, and can also go with the ability to have or take more risk in the individual's life, right? So that adds on to the aspect of him. The fourth feature on which we compare is the nose part, where if you see, both of them have quite a decent enough nose length, as you could see on Joe Biden's face and on Kamala Harris's face. And when nose part is bigger, it indicates that your want to control things, your want to see how you want to influence your decision making. And this is one of the things which you will see in most of the leaders, that their nose part, their nose length is quite good, and when nose length is good, it indicates that that strength of metal energy, that leader like personality that you can carry through. And for both of these leaders that we see, the nose length is quite good, which indicates that there is significant leader like quality, and that's why they are the significant political figures of the United States, right? So that is one of the common things that you will see in the leaders and business leaders, that the nose part is something that definitely 80% of the times can be pretty big. It doesn't mean that short noses have disadvantage. It carries another set of strengths, but this metal feature of having a big enough nose definitely adds to that leader-like quality, and somebody who can be strong enough to control, or who wants to control situations the way he or she wants to, right? So that is one aspect in them. The fifth aspect on which we'll compare is the lips part, where if you just observe lips of Joe Biden, they are quite thin in nature. They are not pretty full, and that may indicate on the health part that there is spleen deficient energy, which could be observed. And if you see the lips and mouth of Kamala Harris, they are pretty big in nature. If you see the upper lip part is also big, and the lower lip part is also full enough. So when a person has this particular trait where the lips part is full, it indicates again how much intensity she can feel emotions with, and it indicates a strength that she can very much connect or express her emotions well. When a person or bearer has this sort of lips, it can indicate that the strength in experiencing emotions can be intense, and this is something which you'll see in her speeches as well, where she can be emotionally very fiery, very appealing. And on Joe Biden's part, this aspect of personal life sharing cannot be his strength. As you could see, the lip part is not that big enough, and he kind of wants to reserve himself, like especially his private life, to himself, and not be quite open about even being emotional in speeches, right? So that is one part which is again a point of difference in between both of them. And one other aspect that I want to share with you is that if you see the face of Joe Biden, and if you divide the face into two halves, which means the left half and the right half, and if you just observe the aspect of eye opening in between both of them, you'll observe that the left part of the face is more open with respect to the eye part, with respect to the iris visibility, versus the right part of the face. This I meant by the bearer's face. This is his right and this is his left, and as right part of the brain governs the left part of the body, and so left part of the face, it indicates that the left part indicates how you are privately in your life, and the right part of the face indicates how you want to be publicly viewed, or in simple terms, this is the public side of your life and this is the private side of your life. And if eyes are a little more open than the right part of his face, it indicates that he can be more open than he seems, right? He can seem that he is very private if you view his right angle, but internally he's giving signals that he can be quite open, on that front, or a little more open than he looks, right? So that is something which you can see and observe once you compare the two halves of the face, as they are pretty interesting comparisons that you can draw, because we are different in both public as well as private life, and those are the features that can be seen on the face as well, right? So yeah, this is pretty much the comparison that I have done between Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I hope that it points out and brings out some strengths, some challenges that you can see across your face as well. And let me know in the comment section how you find this video, and give it a thumbs up if you feel it is helpful, and comment on any concern that you have, or if you want me to make some other video or some certain topic, do let me know. I'll be extremely grateful for that. And for now, signing off, this is Nitesh. Bye bye, take care, have a beautiful day ahead.